been a certain phrase in the Hearthstone community that has been around since the very beginning. Is Hearthstone dying? There's been a lot of news in the Hearthstone scene within this year alone, and there's a lot of conversation that is currently surrounding, is Hearthstone dying? Is Hearthstone, doing better than it used to? Because honestly, we've had a lot of controversies, not only just with Hearthstone itself, but with Blizzard and Activision as a company. And for today's video, we're going to break down this new post that just went live on the Hearthstone website talking about the future of the game. But let's talk about the player sentiment surrounding Hearthstone right now and why this conversation of Hearthstone is dying is so prevalent, because it used to be, the conversation, hey, there's a new game coming out like Artifact, like Marvel Snap, like all of these online card games that are going to be the Hearthstone killer, and yet Hearthstone is still here and standing, but there's still, some problems within the game that definitely need to be addressed, and unfortunately, a lot of people thought these problems would be tackled on a little bit more after the merger with Activision and Microsoft happened, but unfortunately, they laid off a bunch of employees, and it's just unfortunate how it's like we're in this domino effect to where like the third domino is kind of striking down, and this might be affecting the game in one way or another, or at least that's the player sentiment surrounding this. And if you guys are interested about the timeline about how this all affected, Activision and Microsoft, then here's like a good link that kind of breaks it down. But for the longest time, people were like, this is going to be good for the Hearthstone. Xbox bringing in, Activision Blizzard games into the Xbox Game Pass, having Microsoft actually help out Hearthstone. Maybe they throw some esports money to Hearthstone, or just like anything to World of Warcraft or to Blizzard games. Like we thought that Xbox would have a little bit more boom up for these games, but unfortunately, I just really haven't seen anything since the merger other than stuff like this. So, typical corporate stuff in the gaming world. But it's understandable why players are a little bit burnt out right now when it comes to, oh, hey, things are happening, things are coming, because we keep having things being taken away. And it's unfortunate that we're not getting a new board within Perils of Paradise. But you want to know something that we always get? We always get cosmetics. We have so many cosmetics within the game right now, it feels like the only thing that's really being pushed within Hearthstone, at least content-wise, is just the amount of cosmetics within the game. And there are some players, like myself, that really just don't care about the cosmetics. I'd rather have a good game. I'd rather focus on just playing the game well, building my own decks. And the cosmetics, every now and again, if there's something cool that I want to get, then I will get it. But it's not the main driving force of me, spending money within the game. The only thing that I want are the cards. So cosmetics to me are effectively useless unless it's something like Cthulhu. And if you take a look compared to the screenshot that I just shared you earlier, like that screenshot wasn't 100% accurate, but that was about 2 years ago, and just look at the amount of skins that we have. It's almost tripled those numbers in some instances, to where, some classes barely had 20, and now the class with the least amount of skins now has 24, and that's a Death Knight. But then the next class is 38, which is Demon Hunter, literally the two most recent classes that were added into the game. 52 skins for Mage. So they are really trying everything they can to push these cosmetics because they're selling. It's keeping Hearthstone financed, and honestly, I don't have a problem if people want to buy cosmetics, but there is something that I kind of take issue with. Unfortunately, the conversation surrounding is Hearthstone dying is not even about Hearthstone dying, in my opinion. It's more so that things just keep getting taken away from us, and that is just one thing that we do not want within Hearthstone. Like, I don't think anybody really cared about the boards. I'm going to go ahead and make a hot take here. I don't really think anybody cared that much about the boards. But the moment that we heard that they weren't coming into this next expansion, the moment we heard we weren't getting an update with a new board, this is the very first time that something like this has happened. So of course players are going to be making, these rash assumptions that, yeah, the game might be dying. There's all these resources are being taken away because we keep seeing these layoffs. We keep seeing how something at Blizzard, since this Activision Microsoft acquisition, just seems to be pushing the game in a little bit of a different direction that some players may not agree with, like, for example, all the heavy monetization. And Reddit has been very vocal over the past week, to where even 11 hours ago, there are still people being like, where's the explanation? Where's the new board? This is the big topic within the Hearthstone community, and Zeddy has been at the forerunner of really trying to inform people, hey, there is something that's going to be happening, but we just don't know yet, and we just keep making jokes about it, to where it's like, hey, where's this announcement? Where's this announcement? Well, I'm happy to tell you guys that I have access to this announcement. Hang on tight, because we'll be sharing an update next week, and well, they waited almost 2 full weeks, so we are going to go over this. I have read it once, haven't really processed it, but there's really not a lot of information really to take in. It's more so just the community sentiment that they are trying to send to us. So let's go ahead and read over this announcement. Hearthstone update, looking ahead. pretty much, is Hearthstone dead, is what they're asking. But before we get started with this, a huge shout out to Blizzard for letting me have access to this document so that way I can read it to you guys. Because this should be available right now on the website. But well met, Hearthstone community. Nathan Lyon Smith here, following up on last week's promise to give you more visibility on our strategy for Hearthstone. As someone who's been playing Hearthstone since the beta days, I'm passionate about making sure this game we love keeps thriving. As the executive producer, it's also my job to look after the game's health, our incredible team, and our equally incredible community. We are doing meaningful research and development for the future of Hearthstone to ensure that the tavern will be a home for another decade and beyond. While we are not ready to share any information about this work yet, and will not be for a while, I want you to know that we are committed to Hearthstone as we know it today, and that this work is happening alongside what we will detail below. We made some changes over the past 18 months that were not what you've come to expect from Hearthstone. We didn't do a good job communicating our strategy around those changes. I apologize for that. Going forward, it is my goal to be more open. We should proactively share changes we are making with our community alongside context why we are making these changes. I will start addressing that now. So hopefully Blizzard is going to be a lot more transparent and accountable with us. So, fingers crossed that continues to be the trend. Fun, focus, and fearless. Our strategy for Hearthstone is based around 3 words: fun, focused, and fearless. Hearthstone delivers a special kind of fun, the aha moments and the puzzly combat, along with the game's unique look and feel. We strive every day to prove tools that inspire you to experience the game your way, so Hearthstone can offer you your own brand of fun. Constructed battlegrounds and arena are the modes that our community plays the most, and where you see us making the largest changes. Like you saw with Battlegrounds Duos earlier this year, focusing on those modes allows us to make more meaningful impacts to the areas that impact the vast majority of our community. We want to be fearless in the pursuit of discovering more fun experiences and strive to move beyond the status quo to do so. We saw one such opportunity in Arena. Over the last 8 months, the Arena community has emerged by some small yet impactful design changes. Early access to the expansions, new draft rules, and the curated card pools have more profound impact on the game mode. This has worked out great. The popularity of Arena has shot up and we want to do more. We are now working on a substantial yet very cool update for Arena, and we are aiming to release it at the beginning of next year. Taking bold and focused steps are the kinds of decisions our teams are committed to. We appreciate your passion for Hearthstone, and we won't always be perfect, but our promise is that we will listen and react as quickly as possible. We will keep an eye on what isn't working as well as we would like, while also doubling down and pushing further when we find something great. And now here is the announcement that is finally addressing why there is no board in Perils in Paradise. Making space for innovation and personalization. We decided not to make a board for Perils in Paradise. We should have let you know earlier. Moving forward, we will ensure that you get early visibility on changes like this and give you more information on what we're working on instead. We are still planning to release 1 new board a year. Whoa. But we also have some ambitious ideas that we know will be a significant undertaking, pulling back from the 3 static game boards per year to allow us to begin work on the coolest possible dynamic stuff, like a system to choose your favorite boards and pets. We've heard so much positive feedback about Cthulhu, and we are working on some truly groundbreaking new hero skins. It's too soon to go into detail about what's coming. Probably going to be something with like Rag or Major Domo. That's what the too soon in all caps is alluding to, I believe. But we will have a fast track to putting all existing Hearthstone boards into the standard format rotation. We also surveyed a large group of you to ask what cosmetics would be interesting. The responses were predominantly around furthering personalization of the play space, and this feedback reinforced our desire to innovate and challenge what we have always done. Thank you for the feedback. Hearthstone is here to stay. While it has evolved and adapted over the past 10 years, one thing that hasn't changed is the fact that there is an amazing team behind it, with so much passion and energy as ever. We have a fantastic upcoming slate of cards and themes, exploring new stories that can be told within Azeroth and beyond, as well as events and features that we hope will surprise and delight you all. Many members of the team, myself included, lurk in the Hearthstone communities because we're huge fans of the game and because we want your feedback. We have a shared passion and love for this game and want it to be the best that it can be so we can enjoy it together. As a team, we frequently talk about what we are seeing and hearing from you, and we need to make this more of a two-way conversation, which is really, really good point in my opinion. With that in mind, I commit to checking in with you all again before the end of the year to keep you updated with any further strategy changes. Until then, we hope you are enjoying Perils in Paradise and exploring the new fun with Taurus. We'll all see you in the tavern, Nathan. Now, one thing that I have to say is if a card game was dying, you'd have something like Disney and Lorcana, to where Lorcana had an online portal, an online client that people were playing the game and learning the game and kind of understand the new cards. And then Disney just, completely pulled the rug underneath them, and now that online client doesn't exist anymore. So it's like, if you want to have the conversation about a card game dying, this is a great example of that, because unfortunately, there are less people that are playing Lorcana online now. There are probably more people that have to play, the physical cards and whatnot. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh card, not a Lorcana card, but the point still stands. Like, if you want to see an example of a game dying, this is one great example. But does this response mean that Hearthstone itself is dying? I do not believe so. In fact, I believe one thing that they definitely reinforced in the statement is talking about how many passionate people are working at Hearthstone. And when you remember the people that are currently working on the Hearthstone design team, how some of them were former competitive players, former casters, people that have been involved with the conversation of Hearthstone for a long time, there is definitely passionate people behind the game, and I don't think that is a question whatsoever. However, one thing that I definitely have to bring attention to, something that I'm not a big fan of, is the idea that they surveyed a large group of people to ask what cosmetics would be most interesting. That seems to be the direction that Hearthstone is focusing on, is that we are focusing on cosmetics and other ways of monetizing the game, because the actual conversation surrounding the cards, surrounding the actual game, I feel like is a bit lower interest for people, because people just care about like their favorite classes. Some whales just care about getting all the cosmetics for whatever classes they want to play the most in. And it's just like, I don't really like the idea of, oh, let's just add more cosmetics. Let's just add more monetization monitors, more ways for people to spend their money in the game. Like, it's good that we're monetizing Hearthstone, but I don't really like this idea of, let's just put another cosmetic in the game and we just keep going down this path of how many cosmetics is too many cosmetics. Like, again, almost 3 years ago, we were having this many cosmetics, and now we're looking into the game, we have this many cosmetics, and now the board is going to be a cosmetic that we can adjust as well. As long as there's nothing that we have to buy, I do not care what they do with this customization. But if this is going to be a thing where like they put rune stones attached to it, like maybe these pets, maybe the pets can have a premium onto them, I can kind of understand that. But if it's like, if I wanted to do something with like my favorite board and have it appear like every other game or something like that, and you have to spend money to have it within like your inventory of boards, like imagine if your boards are like your hero cosmetic skins, and in order to go through them, you have to buy them all. I don't think it's gonna go down that direction, but they aren't exactly giving us that many details surrounding this. So I'm gonna go ahead and voice my opinion. I'm a little bit concerned that Hearthstone has a bit of a monetization problem, to where it's just about cosmetics. It's not about, how many people buy the expansion. It's not about how many people buy packs. They are just trying to maximize profits by giving us as many cosmetics as possible. But the big question is, do we want these cosmetics in the first place? And if most people want them in the Hearthstone community, then sure, I'll go ahead and, not have a problem with them. But as somebody that doesn't really like buying cosmetics, and as someone that just wants to play the game and have the game feel well, I still do believe that Hearthstone's not dying, but I'm really concerned about the pace of the monetization. And that's just me personally. Again, I don't buy cosmetics. I can't help but feel this, because every single time I see something new where I have to, whip out my credit card, I'm not exactly inclined to do so. So if you guys are excited about this, let me know in the comments below. I'm actually genuinely curious about what you guys are thinking about this announcement, because I got a lot of good feelings, at least surrounding the passion behind the game. They're sharing a lot of these ideas, and they're gonna be a lot more transparent with us. I love that, because that means that if they tell me something, I might be able to tell you something without it being a secret for months, because I didn't know about this until today. Actually, this was just announced in our Discord as of last night. So creators are very new to this information as well, and it's just great to have more, clear communication with Blizzard itself. But the big question, in order to answer the title and the thumbnail, is Hearthstone dying? Absolutely not. It's just being monetized very heavily, and there's a lot of cosmetics that'll probably be the main way that Hearthstone earns a buck at the end of the day.